Okay, we're live. Hello, today I will be talking with Lemmingbot, who attended the recent PAX East of convention. How are you doing, Lemming?
Oh, you're roboting.
I am? I don't know why that is. Um, Hold on a minute.
You okay?
Hello?
Oh, yep.
I do apologize. I was having difficulty with my mic. Am I still roboting?
No, you're good.
Okay, excellent. All right. All right. So I'll be interviewing Lemmingbot today, and she's going to tell us about how her experiences at PAX East. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. A little tired, but I'm good.
Okay, sounds good. Um, to begin, how was your time at PAX?
Oh, it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. Like I went last year. It's pretty much the equivalent to my Christmas.
Hmm.
Like if I had to choose between having Christmas and going to PAX, I'd go to PAX.
Okay. Were you going PAX solely for fun?
Well, I had to go there. Well, obviously, I have to go there for business because I am in game design, and that's basically how you meet others in the industry. That's how you make connections. That's how that's how some people even get jobs and internships.
Hmm. So it's like GDC. It's a conference where developers meet, and while there's a show, there's also business stuff that goes on at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. It's more just like a social gathering. Most from what I know, most of the business stuff goes on in after parties that take place after the convention is closed. But you'll meet people on the floor, and sometimes they'll be like, "Oh yeah, totally, come with us to this bar afterwards," and then that's a way to get in.
Hmm. Okay, that sounds good. Um, how did this year at PAX compare to other conventions you previously attended?
I've only been to a few different conventions. One of them was a robotics convention for a few years, but I definitely enjoy this one a lot more than any others. Last year I think was a little bit more fun, but that's because I didn't really know what to expect. But overall, uh, I think yeah, it's a pretty good convention. I had a really good time. I met a lot of cool people,
Hmm.
and it was worth my time and my money.
Can you give us a few highlights?
Well, I got to talk to a few of the people that are making the Guild Wars Heart of Thorns expansion. I got to talk with the person that's in control of instances, beast spawning, stuff like that. She was really really cool, and I got to I'm trying to oh I got to talk to some people from Blizzard about Overwatch, even though I don't really plan on getting it because I'm not really good at those kinds of games. But it was uh, other highlights. I got to meet some people from GG.
Hmm.
I got to meet Andrew from Code USA, the guy that worked on the forest. I got to uh, I got to see a few other people. I think Hat's girlfriend was there, but she was only there for one day, and we never got to meet because she was always in lines when I was not. Um, and I got a really neat jacket.
Oh, nice. Was any special designs or things that about the jacket?
Oh, it's an Assassin's Creed. It was an Assassin's Creed jacket from Voltaire Designs, I believe. It was like half price because I think that they were like moving out an old design or something. But I got it for a really good price, and it's a really nice jacket.
Cool. What was the general attitude and atmosphere at the convention? Was it like was it uproarious? Was it like what was it?
everybody was obviously just there to have fun. Because that's what PAX is. It's a fun convention for people that like games to go have fun, wait in lines, and potentially meet people that they like. There wasn't any like real negative anything there really, except for in a few obvious areas that we can talk about later. But overall, everybody was friendly, everybody was smiling, everybody was having a really great time. I think that it was a very successful convention this year for Penny Arcade and everyone else.
Okay. Did you cosplay?
I I did put on the my Ren Fair garb that I always wear that one day. It's basically just a bodice, and it's like a bodice, a dress, and like a peasant shirt, and and yeah, I mean, I don't really know if that counts as cosplay, but it's like one of the only times I wear it during the year, so I suppose.
Okay. Did any cosplayers tending stand out for better or for worse?
Oh, there was this really awesome Mega Man cosplay group where they were. I've never played Mega Man, so I only knew Mega Man and Cutman, but they were amazing. And of course, they had the guys that do like the professional Halo armor there. They actually had a whole panel where they just talked about how they make this armor, and those were amazing. It's really cool to see just how much work everybody puts into just cosplay.
Hmm. Um, can you give us a little insight into cosplay culture? Like, why do people decide to dress up as like some of their favorite characters, or why do people like seeing other people dress up as those characters?
I I'm not a really big cosplayer, even though I would love to be. But it's mostly just because it's just like a celebration of how much you like that character, how much you like that series, or how much it's influenced you. It's like you can always buy the games or buy the media and always like give it good ratings and reviews. But it's a totally different thing to actually take your time and money so that you can like look like that character or like be somebody from that world. I think that's like a it's like a level of devotion and love to a series that most of the people don't have.
Okay.
Or it's just like you just enjoy dressing up.
So it's mostly for fun and also for appreciation of towards like the creators of these works and like showing how much you appreciate their incarnations.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like whenever I know that a lot of creators really love to see people cosplaying their characters. They find it really flattering and really really encouraging. I know that if I saw somebody cosplaying, a character from a game I'd make, I'd just like be so happy and flattered because they liked my character enough to spend all this money and all this time to create a costume to look like them.
Okay. Um, Speaking of cosplaying, was there any like did the convention restrict any of the cosplayers? Like, did they tell anyone they had to change their attire because it may have been indecent or violated some sort of rule?
I do not believe that there are any rules like that in place at PAX East. Like obviously because I never really cosplayed before, like heart like full on. But when I was in my outfit, I have basically all of the cleavage showing, and nobody looks twice at that. So I don't believe that there is anything in place at PAX conventions telling people they can't wear a certain outfit or a certain way.
On that note, the recent well, the recent concern like was that the restrictions on booth vapes, which they decided to remove from the convention, may have imposed those rules and restrictions on attendees as well. Um, on the note of booth vapes, like did the lack of them hinder, improve, or fail to affect the experience at all?
Doesn't make any difference. I mean, and to be honest, in my opinion, like the girls are like because of the certain culture that like antis and people like that have, like just having girls in the booth is kind of like a priority. Even if they're not like sexy booth babes, there were a lot of companies were trotting out their female developers. And I feel like that's just another incarnation of booth babes. I don't feel that this new rule was has imposed any cosplayer, but I do feel like it's just asking for like booth babes to take a different incarnation.
Gotcha. Um, on the note of differencing opinions and such, at PAX Appear said that they cared to politically correct, especially after the Dick Wolf's controversy. Um, do you identify someone who share those values? If not, do you find the ideological disconnect a problem?
Uh, I I don't really like. Could you explain a little bit better? Like, do I agree that the Dick Wolves thing was like inappropriate? Because
Um,
I think it was kind of inappropriate, but it's America and they can say whatever the fuck they want. Like, it's just
what I mean,
oh
well, what
yeah,
I mean is, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. What I mean is basically there's a lot of panels and presentations based on more social issues than actual tech and gaming issues,
Hmm.
and a lot of things that come out of these panels and conventions is very leaning towards social authoritarian type attitudes, or although that is a bit of a loaded term because I don't think anyone identifies as an authoritarian, but there is a lot of that of kind of progressive regressive nature. Do you think that is do you think that lines is that like would you agree with those values that they expose? Like if they had a big convention panel of an anti-harassment policy or the need for inclusion. There was one panel I saw that was on the need to don't let identity politics like get in the way and like how to resolve that. Do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, I don't think that identity politics have any place in this industry. Like, because I feel like, especially when I'm trying to like figure out a good way to articulate this, because like without sounding like kind of like a jerk to either side, but I think that I feel like people should just drop it really and just let people make the games they want and stop trying to say, oh well, we need to like make this industry more welcoming to this person and this person, because it already is welcoming. It already is welcoming to everyone. As long as you're not an ass butt, people are going to be fine with you. And I feel like there should be less trying to change the culture because it's fine, and more trying to help people that are new to the culture understand what goes on and how to deal with like the differences that they might have. Like, because like internet culture, you can call somebody a faggot and that's more of like an affectionate term, but if you say faggot to somebody in real life, that could be offensive. I feel like, people just need to be educated more on the differences between certain cultures, certain like, modern cultures, and, what their own values are. So that they don't, try to go invade, colonize, and change it to what they want it to be.
Did you okay? Did you experience any of that colonization sort of attitude where people are trying to like invade spaces where not by naturally coming into these places and like getting involved with the community, but trying to basically was there any kind of controlling attitude that may have been echoed by maybe some of the panelists, maybe someone who's presenting something, or maybe even by the conference itself?
I don't feel that Penny Arcade really has a horse in the, like I'm just gonna say this right now. I don't feel that Penny Arcade really cares either way. They're just gonna do whatever gives them better people will like it'll get whatever gives them a better reputation, whatever keeps them from looking like assholes. Even if they don't necessarily believe it, they're gonna do it. But yeah, there was definitely a lot, a lot more of these like social panels. Like I specifically remember there was one that I had that like the very first one that I saw. when I opened up the booklet to see what panels were there, it was how to be a corrupt game journalist. I saw two different things about making a, I think it was like two of the very same panels, but just with different people about trans issues in gaming. I saw there were two different ones with Brianna Wu. I believe she did one of her podcasts there, and that's a sizable chunk. And there's probably a few others that I didn't even notice that are probably, you know, that probably expound those kind of values, and that I didn't even count. It was a sizable chunk of the panels. There was less things about what is Blizzard doing this year, and what is the new technology that makes this game, and this game special. It was more about, oh, let's make this more inclusive, blah blah blah, for people, so that just a bunch of bullshit.
Did that in any way impede your personal experience, or were you able to just avoid those panels?
I was able to avoid those panels pretty easily. It's not like anyone's forcing you to go to them, but I did feel like the panels, like the fact that the panels were given to that, like, so many of those panels were had that theme for them. I didn't want to go to them. I kind of felt like these panels were inserted, and the culture that either supports GG or doesn't care about GG really lost out on a lot of more informative things that we care about more. I mean, I guarantee you, I could probably go down on the floor in PAX and ask any old person if they wanted to hear about trans issues, or they wanted to hear about, the new game that was coming out from Bethesda. I guarantee you they'd be more interested in Bethesda's game. If they're interested in these issues, they'll seek it out and learn about it by themselves. We don't need this kind of shit invading, our spaces. We just want to learn about games. We don't want to hear about women and trans people and stuff like that. It's important issues, but this is not the time nor place to kind of be talking about it. We just want to have a good time and play our games and experience, PAX.
Hmm. Speaking of Gamergate, did that come up in any capacity, or was that just a non-issue while you were at the convention?
I think that, well, on the floor, nobody talked about it. I did wear my cockade. I did get a question about it from a feminist, and all I said was like, "Oh," she's like, "Oh, you have suffragette colors." I was like, "Kind of. It's actually for my support of Gamergate," and she just kind of paled a little bit, and I changed the subject.
Yeah, that sounds
But
funny.
yeah, it was really funny. She was like, "Oh, what do you find is important in a female character?" And I'm just like, "Well, whatever makes a male character good will make a female character good." And she's like, "But what do you find good in a female character?" And then I just, wrote down some bullshit on her little post-it note, and then she asked me about it. I also saw Movie Bob.
Really?
Same room. Yeah, he was like 3 booths away from that.
What did he have to offer at the convention?
I don't know. He was. It was like, take this or something. I'm not even sure what it was about, but they were just these shirts. They said, take this. I guess it was a reference to, take, it's dangerous to go alone, take this. But all they were offering was shirts. I don't know what kind of protection that was offering me. He just kind of sat there, and yeah, it was like the saddest little booth too.
To visit?
Oh yeah, it was. Well, like, fortunately, like, last year, the diversity lounge, quote unquote, that they had was more filled last year. This year there are probably only about 5 booths. Um, all white people in there, by the way, mostly men. But it was very nice and quiet. So, but uh, yeah, it was just like tucked away in this little room. There was there was no backboard to it. There was no decorations. It was just them sitting behind this him sitting behind this table with this other chick in a Commander Shepard uh, hoodie with shirts. It was sad.
Ah, yeah. Um, sorry, I had I what was it? Um, sorry, something came up and I got distracted.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
I heard. Yeah, that does sound like very movie Bob's in a very sad state of life in general. I think that like anything that any public appearance he makes will kind of carry with him a kind of like a very despondent kind of attitude with him. Um,
Yeah.
he did it all to himself, though. I mean, if he just treated it, in my opinion, if he treated his audience with more respect, it wouldn't matter what his views are. He would be in a much better place if than he is at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, I'm going to have to agree with that. He didn't act in a very appropriate way, or well, he can act however he wants, but he's also going to have to just deal. We're also going to respond how we want, and he's going to have to take that into account. And he's obviously learning that the hard way.
Pretty much. Speaking of cult of personality, at GDC there was a bit of grandstanding by individuals such as Tim Schafer. Did any of those kind of antics go on at PAX?
From what I know, at least as far as Gamergate goes, not really. I mean, of course, there were some Let's Players going around hanging out, attracting a bunch of attention, but none of it was GG related. And like I said, Brianna Wu was there, but from what I know, she did not cause a stir. Amazingly enough.
Yeah. One thing I will credit Brianna Wu for is she strangely does have. She doesn't present herself very well, but she does have a bit of charisma when she goes on interviews and such. So I think she can behave in the proper setting. It's just that she chooses not. She chooses to vitriolically attack people a lot, and not in a way that's constructive for anyone involved.
Hmm.
Um, but it is good to hear that the developers put the it is good to hear the developers put the politics at the door for the most part. I mean, you do have the social panels and those sort of issues that people want to discuss about, but um, other than that, but that is at least on topic as opposed to saying, going on stage and making a whole bunch of Gamergate jokes because, well, you either have terrible writers or you wrote that yourself and you're a terrible person. Um, but that's neither here nor there. Um, what other what other highlights or interesting things of note can you tell us of your experience at PAX?
Well, they did lose my bags at the thing, but that's not really here nor there. I'm trying to think if anything else really, really interesting happened. I do know that uh, trying to think if there's anything like super duper interesting because it was actually surprisingly a very calm, uh, well, about as calm as you can get with several thousand people in a building. But it was a very calm, uh, kind of not out there experience. I was expecting there to be a little bit more drama, especially with Gamergate still being what it is, and with obviously Movie Bob and Brianna Wu being there. I thought there'd be a little bit more drama, but fortunately there was not. I think that any GG supporters probably just avoided whatever like anything that had to do with these kinds of people and just went about their own way. And of course the people that are they're sympathetic to them, went in there, drank the Kool-Aid, did whatever, and stayed away from us.
I think that's a positive sign actually, and I think it does destroy a bit of this narrative that it's going around that Gamergate is doing nothing but causing toxicity and disruption. And I think it just goes to show that this is just my opinion, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that basically, while there is a lot of heated debate and discussion online, a lot of it is very vitriolic and very filled with rhetoric. Um, that it's not doing what a lot of the press is saying it's doing, where it's creating this bad environment in gaming or gaming culture. Um, that's just that's just my opinion on the matter.
Yeah, I totally understand. I actually totally agree as well. There are, they want to make something of it, and it doesn't need to be this awful thing where people are fighting. They could just, fucking listen to us, put a little bit of ethics in their coconut, shake that up and like fucking drink that. But they don't. They want to make shit. They want to, like, to what end? I guess it's different for depending on what anti you ask, but they want to make drama. They want to, they want to make Gamergate into something, and they have. Unfortunately, like, I really wish that, like, even though Gamergate has probably been one of the most positive experiences uh, in to happen to me when it comes to gaming and my job. I really do wish that it never had to happen. Like, I met so many good friends, but it's because of this awful thing that's happening in my industry.
Hmm. On that note, a bit off topic, but I think it's relevant. Where do you see the future of Gamergate going? Did we achieve the goals we set out to, or do you think that there's more to achieve, or um, what is your opinion on the current state of the controversy?
I think that we are most like I think that we're more at the war of attrition kind of point now, where we have to wait out these other people. Like we have to wait for the antis to kind of begin to lose. Otherwise, obviously, we'll lose. There's well, I mean, I suppose that there are happenings every now and again, but it is not coming like rapid fire like it was in the first few months. I think that everybody just has to stay on point. They have to keep sending emails, keep, being loud and refusing to stand down on Twitter so that, we can make a positive change. I mean, we already have made changes. We've raised what, probably close to $100,000 for charity, 50,000, 100,000, somewhere around there. We've done good there. I mean, we've cost Gawker so much money. We've shut down sites. And I think that that just shows how much power that we, the consumer, have. And we need to keep flexing that muscle. We need to keep making that stronger. We can't just be like, oh, well, this is enough and just drop it. We have to keep going. If Gamergate goes on and if Gamergate goes on for another, several months, several years, hell, even if this kind of shit has to go on for decades, I'm gonna stand with it because gaming did a lot for me. It pretty much saved my life when I was younger. And if I have to do that, if this is what I'm doing to pay gaming back, just as a culture, we just need to stand strong. We need to stay on point. It may be a little bit boring now. It may feel like we're not getting anywhere, but we are.
At what point do you think that your goals have been met? At what point do you think you can say, all right, there's no reason to keep tweeting out the hashtag. We can just go back to playing games.
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I don't think that there is going to be any point as long as there are greedy people and as long as there are people that want to take advantage of gaming in some way or another, whether that be for for social reasons, whether they think they're like doing good or they're trying to get money out of controversy. There's always going to be Gamergate. There always is going to be angry consumers that are going to say no. And I think that that is a powerful thing. Like, it might sound a little bit silly and a little bit like, Optimus Prime-ish for me to be making this speech, but as long as there are bad people, there are going to be people that stop them. And in the gaming industry, that's us. That's Gamergate.
Okay. Um, let me just go over the questions I have. I asked a bunch of these out of order, so it's lost
That's
track of
okay.
it.
Take your time.
Okay. Um, oh, here's one. Um, what games that were released at PAX are you excited about the most, and which ones are you less excited for?
Well, like I said before, even though I do love Blizzard, I did go to look at Overwatch. I'm not actually that interested in it because, from what I can tell, it's a bit like Team Fortress, and I am like as much as as much as I love the characters in Team Fortress, I don't like the game very much.
Hmm.
But I feel like if Overwatch can at least give us some interesting characters, I'll be happy enough with it. What I'm excited for, what I'm very interested in, is the Guild Wars Heart of Thorns expansion. I have never really the only MMO that I've ever really been able to play was World of Warcraft and a little bit of Lord of the Rings Online. But I'm actually thinking about adding this one to my repertoire so that I can, because the demo that I played was very interesting, was very fun, and I am actually looking forward to seeing it come out so that maybe I can try Guild Wars because I hear a lot of good things about it. Uh, and as much as I enjoy MMOs, I think that I'm going to enjoy this one.
Okay, that sounds good.
Also,
Um,
also a little bit of Halo 5. I want I wasn't able to get into the demo because I didn't feel like waiting in the line for 3 hours. But I am like a closet Halo fan. I do enjoy that universe, and I am interested to see what they are coming out with.
on that note, do you think that this fifth Halo series entry is going to be more of the same, or do you think it will be innovative?
Uh I think that it might end up being more of the same, mostly because uh well, from what I know about from people that did play the demo, it wasn't that impressive. But uh, I mean, like unless Bungie has something really interesting up their sleeve that they're just not telling us about, it might not be a world-ending first-person shooter. They're still kind of riding off of 1 through 3's coattails, and I think that the games themselves are kind of unnecessary story-wise, but I just enjoy them. Maybe I just like listening to Master Chief's voice too much. I don't know.
Okay. On the Overwatch panel, I heard and read some articles that there was a new character they released, and that's kind of got some controversy because some people like it, some people don't like it because they think it's pandering, others don't like it because the character's just way too weird for them. What was the reaction at PAX towards that character?
I Nobody really talked about. I know what character you're talking about, and nobody really seemed to think much of her. They were much more. A lot of people were much more interested in the other characters. Uh, I heard somebody talking about it, and the one guy kind of seemed like, yeah, I don't really like your design a lot, and his girlfriend just kind of shrugged, and she's like, whatever, I don't care. But my personal opinion is, because obviously I haven't really looked into her a lot yet. I have yet to form a good opinion on what she's all about. And if it's pandering, then shame on you, Blizzard. I love you guys, but you can't. That's not cute. And if it's just they wanted to make a character with pink hair and who was kind of curvy. If they just wanted to make that character, then whatever. I mean, that's their game. They can put whatever they want in it. If they want to make a fucking ninja that uses babies as nunchucks, then I'm not going to question that. You know. Well, I might question the sanity, but I won't say you can't put that in your game.
Right. I personally maintain that you should be able to criticize people, but you shouldn't try to impose restrictions. And once
Yeah,
again, that's my personal opinion.
well, yeah, I mean, if everybody should be free to say what they want, and that includes critics. A critic can you can go and you can make a shitty game, and then Total Biscuit comes along and he has every right to tell you that your game fucking sucks. You know.
Hmm. Speaking of new releases from Blizzard, they recently announced the Hearthstone expansion pack. were you there when they released it? And can you give us more insight, or is Hearthstone just not really your thing?
I am so bad at card games. I never really I mean I played a little bit because I like to try everything Blizzard does, but I was not into it.
Yeah, I'm kind of a big Hearthstone fan. I play it a lot, so I was hoping I could get some more insight out of that.
Well,
We'll probably do
the
more.
reaction did seem to be good there. I never heard a bad thing about it, and I heard a few of my friends that are from school, they were all excited about the Hearthstone expansion. So it seems promising. So keep your hopes up.
Okay, that sounds good. Um, One other question. What was it? PAX is also often noted for its musical variety and its concerts. How were the concerts at PAX, and h- basically how was the concert performances at PAX?
From what I know, they were really, really, really good. I like don't really like to go to concerts because they give me headaches. But everybody they were a lot of like chiptune people, a lot of uh, like I think there were like some dubstep people there. I didn't know any of their names, but a lot of I remember on the second night, I was hanging out, I was waiting for one of my friends, and like you could hear the music coming down from the main theater. It was pretty neat. Well, it was pretty neat sounding, at least. So I suppose that it was pretty good.
Okay. One last question. What was the overall professionalism of the convention?
It was very professional. I mean, there like not one person was rude to me or anybody else, at least that I saw. I mean, the bag checkers were kind of kind of tired, but that's probably because they don't work for they work for the convention center and not Penny Arcade. So, and I do know that the convention center, they dread PAX every year, but PAX itself, the people that work there, the enforcers, they were all polite. They were all very nice. They helped me find my wallet.
Hmm.
It was an overall very positive experience.
Okay. Actually, I lied when I said that was the last question. There's actually one important question that I seem to have missed my notes. Um, Often the subject of harassment at conventions is brought up as a hot button issue. Did you experience or witness any harassment?
I did not. Nobody, like, even though I was kind of looking out for it. I was like, because obviously I was like, I could very easily be harassed for being pro Gamergate. There could be other people that are harassed, for a variety of other reasons, and I did not see or hear of any sort of harassment. I know that last year there was like some douchebag going around and bothering people in like Lara Croft's cosplays, but I heard nothing of that this year.
All right. Before we close out, I'd like to see if the chat has any questions about PAX or Lemonbot or to Lemonbot or in general.
I won't go out with any of you. I'm sorry. I have to know you better, first of all.
All right. I'm just going to wait a few minutes because there's a delay in the stream and to the timing of the chat. But at the moment, there seems to be no questions. So, um, all right, I think this is a good point to close out. Lemmingbot, thank you for your time, and thank you all for watching.
Yep.
And I hope to see you again next stream. All right, have a good one, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.